Hey, welcome to Bridgnorth Coffee Club. Another little road trip there, Jonah.
Connor, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you. Looking forward to this one.
Yeah, tell everyone where we are.
Well, this is properly on brand. Coffee Club at Isle of Fire Coffee.
Yeah, could be a good
So
one.
I'm just excited. Here we go. Following, didn't we?
Yeah.
Originally it started, so we've been speaking about it for years, probably, haven't we? About doing something similar. Yeah. And then we just got together one day. Actually, Connor just got the software, got it down, says, right, we're recording today, and that was it. And originally it was just, obviously we're both based at Bridgnorth Rugby Club originally. Yeah. So it was initially actually just because we started this thing at the club. This is the backstory behind it, is this. We started what we call the coffee club at the rugby club. Oh, yeah. So it was a bit trying to create more of a culture actually where people spend more time together and do stuff. Yeah. And again, we also realised that lives have changed a little bit. Like when I first came to the club and I first met Connor, like 5-6 years ago. Yeah. No families, no commitment, no kids, that sort of stuff. And it was just like go out every weekend drinking. Yeah. But very quickly, sort of life sort of catches up and responsibilities and mortgages and everything like that takes over. And it's actually how do we spend more time together, sort of in and around the rugby club without having to get smashed all the time. And and coffee's the way, isn't it? Everyone likes going for a coffee, and actually, most of the time, I'd rather actually go for a nice coffee than go out drinking all evening. And it became this thing that we started doing. Then people at the club were then interested, who weren't sort of in the actual team itself, interested in what we were doing and how we were doing it. So we just decided to put it on a podcast and talk all things, anything, life in general. But it's become sort of an anything podcast now, where it's not just a rugby podcast in any way, shape or form. It's life, coffee, what we're up to, what we watch on YouTube, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's not too bad.
That's good. That's the hardest bit, taking that plunge and just doing it.
Yeah, that's
so easy to talk about it.
I think that's why me and Connor work well together, because I've got 1,001 ideas, but Connor actions them. Yeah. He's the man who does stuff, but I come up with all the nonsense. He's like the filter for my waffle, really. What about yourself? How long have you been here? And
me personally, I've been here just over a year now. Coming for a year and a half now, actually. As a business, we started. Kev started it 2012, I think. Literally just started it up. He loved background in coffee, loved it.
What is the background?
He have spent 10 years living in Melbourne.
Right.
So he loved coffee anyway.
Yeah.
10 years there and just became obsessed.
Yeah.
His background is as an engineer.
Right, okay.
So he basically decided, came back to the UK and decided that he was going to combine the two, essentially. So he started working with a roaster and created like a bespoke roasting process. So a lot of the roasters back then, it was sort of in similar profile, roast it and done. Yeah. Whereas he changed it so that, I'm not going to do justice here in my description, I'm not an engineer, but you could like edit the profile, and more like modern roasters, you can do that a little bit more now.
Okay.
But he was all way ahead of the time, really like change every little stage of the roast profile, so you could really get different flavors, profiles in the different beans. And so he just started from there, and I think because the coffee was so good, it just really took off. And then they got this place about 5 or so years ago. Maybe a little bit longer now. Moved in here, and then again, it's just carried on growing from there.
Yeah.
Really. Free coffee.
Yeah, can't go wrong, can you, mate?
Can't go wrong.
That's the winner, mate.
Can't go wrong.
It's its own currency, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Especially at the moment.
We've only got one shop in Bridgnorth, haven't we, that sells Iron of Fire.
Which is
Food Snobs.
Food Snobs.
Yeah. So that's the only place we go. That's the only,
well,
that's the only place we go to.
Yeah, it's the only place we go to for coffee.
If you ever get a chance to go, I really like the it's like the Mongolian lamb or something like that. The dish they do.
That's good as well.
That's incredible. Okay. Yeah, that's a banger for me.
It sounds like, I see the food, obviously, it looks and sounds amazing.
Yeah.
To be fair to Food Snobs itself, actually, it's one of those places where they've like genuinely taken a lot of time to think over what they're offering. So it's not they're not just like we're not just going to do coffee. We're going to find a good coffee that we really like and know people like. And do the same with their food as well.
Yeah.
They've taken the time to actually look at something and get something a really good product.
Yeah.
And that's probably why they've been so successful so quickly. I think with that. I think we missed the trick though. We should have said, what do you recommend?
Yeah, we should have
So
said that, shouldn't we?
messed up, haven't we?
I would have said jazz just because it's in the hopper. Like we do all the whiskey in house and stuff, and so it has to be stored for a while. So in terms of stock management, it's quite difficult.
Oh wow,
because it's very
That's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah, we
all in
literally,
house. That's wicked.
Infuse it in the whiskey in here using the barrels and stuff. So it takes quite a lot of management. That one. But it's worth it because it's a lovely coffee.
Yeah.
If you like whiskey.
Yeah. I'd say sometimes I had a whiskey coffee once, and I genuinely had to Google whether it had an alcoholic percentage in it because it was that strong of whiskey
really?
that I had to Google whether it had any alcoholic percentage in it because I didn't want to be drunk at 10 o'clock in the morning. I like it when someone takes a massive amount of care and pride into it.
Which is the most care anyone's ever taken for me to make a coffee.
To make a coffee?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah, I'd say with some conviction, mate, yeah.
So you sent us the Brazilian and the Colombian roasts.
Oh, yes. You tried them yet?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, really good. I couldn't quite get the Colombian as dialed in as I wanted to.
Okay.
But the Brazilian, I usually roast quite a lot of Brazilian roasts in my machine. Right. So I've got that dialed into that rather than into the Colombian roast. But they were both lovely. It was just user error more than coffee bean. Because we've got the Sage Barista Pro for coffee beans if we want to brew anything for coffee beans, which is what we use. You've got ground coffee at home, haven't you, for yours?
Thank you so much.
Which makes life difficult. Yeah, I mean.
Welcome to Bridgnorth Coffee Club.
Oh, I should adjust my seat, Con. I'm
going
going
to adjust your seat
to
there,
face you. I don't know if I'm in the right spot here.
You are in the right spot there. You're all good. Where are we, Jonah?
Well, Iron and Fire Coffee. How much fun was that, mate? We've just obviously come down. Very kindly offered that we could come and have a look at their facility and their roastery and have a little chat about who they are, their background, and all things coffee, really. And it's been wicked, mate. I mean, you've already seen behind us now.
Yeah, we're the nicest coffee ever made.
Yeah, I think I've never had someone make a coffee for me and pay so much attention to how they've made it and take so much care, and it was incredible.
It was great, wasn't it?
Yeah, really, really nice.
You must have dialed in that coffee about 4 or 5 times before he actually did it. It was amazing. It just a lot of care went into that.
I was watching him. I was like, I'm desperate. I didn't have one this morning, so when I got it this morning, I was like, I'm not going to have a coffee because I know I'll definitely have a good one when I come here. So I was going to save it, and I was literally sat there like dribbling behind him, waiting for the coffee.
But they've got some great blends of coffee here, haven't they? What's your pick on the shelf?
Well, actually, I haven't tried this one. They're very kindly given us a little box here, haven't they? So it's in here. Got that. Nice little takeaway gift, one each. And I've asked for the On the Rocks blend, which is whiskey infused.
Which they do here. Yeah,
they do it all in house here, which is amazing.
Yeah, they do it in their own barrels, don't they? Here.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I think they've got a nice little setup here, a nice little set of people as well. Had some great conversations here, haven't they?
Yeah, Joe, who runs the marketing here, he's been our host, sort of, as it were, for the day. Unbelievable friendly guy, doing some great stuff here as well. Yeah, he was actually telling me he was just decorating the shelf yesterday. You can't see just off camera, but we'll have some footage of it. But obviously, the shelf looks really nice, isn't it? They've got these really cool like coffee bags, so each of them's got different designs on. We're just talking about actually putting as a little feature wall they could have in here, because I think that'd be a wicked idea. We could have all the different artworks on the wall. Yeah. It'd be cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be cool. It'd look nice, that would. All the little coffee bags. We might get a picture of one of them and put that on here.
So I didn't ask you. What was your favourite blend? Because obviously I know you've tried a couple of these before, haven't you?
Yeah. So I love the Brazilian Samba.
Yeah.
Is my favourite coffee blend that they do here. I think that's my favourite coffee. Just because I'm a Brazilian coffee lover, and that's just the one I go to personally. But that I've tried a whiskey coffee before when they've done it through the barrel, and it's the taste of it.
Yeah, I'm looking
smell.
forward to that. I'm really looking forward to trying to
As
get
soon as you get your nose in that ground bag, it'll be phenomenal. It will be really nice.
I'll be snaffling that the moment I get in the car.
Yeah, you will. But it's proper cool here. I mean, try and explain what I'm looking at here, Jonah.
To be honest, mate, it looks far too high tech for me
know.
to understand. I think it's where I don't know what you'd probably know better than I would, Con, but treating the beans in some form of way, are they?
Yeah. So I think they're putting the beans through the top, and they're trying to work out the levels of acidity in them, the levels of whatever flavour they want to put in them.
There's about 1,001 different charts on there.
Yeah, it is very, very cool. Really enjoy being here. Really enjoy being here. And there's, it's a brilliant community that they've got around here. Apparently, there's a coffee shop around the corner as well.
Yeah, we need to go sit in there and try that.
We do need to go and sit in there and try that. What's been your best bit?
Well, drinking coffee, mate. You can't go wrong with that. Mate. The coffee, I can't even describe how nice the coffee was, and the artwork was banging as well.
Yeah, it
good
was.
Good coffee, good artwork.
It was. I think just the selection of beans that they've got here is brilliant as well. I mean, I didn't even know they did that many coffee beans.
No, I didn't know they did that many, mate. Yeah.
No. It's been a nice little trip, and they obviously if you wanted to, they sort coffee machines out as well. They do coffee machine repairs here. I can see down the bottom in the studio they've got some coffee machine repairs going on. It's a really cool space. So if you do ever get a chance and you're in Shrewsbury, come on by.
Yeah, say
come
hello.
on by. Come and say hello. You can buy the coffee beans from here. They've got some grinders available. They've got some machines available. Syrups.
There's a banana syrup over there. I've not seen one of those before. Banana syrup is probably something that would tickle my fancy a little bit.
A banana syrup?
Banana syrup, mate, yeah.
No,
I like a banana flavour.
You're wrong. Is that what you'd put in a coffee?
So typically I wouldn't actually go for any syrups, but actually, as a man who likes to try everything once at least,
yeah,
a banana syrup be a bit out there, wouldn't it? Be a bit different.
Yeah, it would be a bit out there.
It's one of those flavours that you've got to be really in the mood for.
Banana.
Yeah, like a banana milkshake sometime is an absolute banger.
Yeah.
Right, it's true. The banana and peanut butter is the one.
Banana and peanut butter.
Mix the two. Bit of a cocktail.
Like in a coffee?
Yeah.
that'd be horrible. That would be horrible. That would be dreadful. But yeah, what we got on the rest of the week, Jonah? What are we doing the rest of the week? I know you're off somewhere soon.
Yeah, I'm off again. I'm off with work to Malawi, so we'll have to get some footage, probably some footage films and stuff recorded before then.
Yeah.
In my absence, I think that's probably the time difference of wherever I might be or whatever I'm doing. We'll probably, for the first time ever, might put out to actually recording a podcast together, even in long distance. I'm not sure it'll work.
Yeah, so we'll have to see. We'll have to see when we record stuff. But let's have a bit of a rugby chat here while we're here. What did you think about Saturday?
Again, mate, it's tough, isn't it, mate? I think that actually, on reflection, there were moments in that game that were unbelievable. I think we had patches in that game where we were so good. I think we actually started really well. We talk about throwing the first punch and getting it right for that.
Yeah.
Oh Lord, did we run some good shape? I think sometimes when you play rugby, actually, when you get it right, it feels easy.
Yeah.
And there were moments in that game where I felt like, I think particularly for a forward, when the game's flowing really well, like width to width, or just you're in the right sort of shape and patterns and everyone's doing their job correctly, it feels like you're not working hard enough because everything's just flowing. And sometimes when it's not going so well, you feel like you're overworking. It's hard. You're trying to get your foot into the game. But the moments of that game and the patches of that game, I just felt so comfortable in what we were doing. But again, on the flip side of that, there were also moments where I was chasing my tail a little bit, working double time to try and make up for stuff we hadn't got quite right. Look, Burton are a tight-knit group, aren't they? We know what they bring. We know what they do. Tough result, isn't it, off the back of a couple of losses as well. There's a 3 on the bounce now. Let's be candid with it. I can't remember the last time it's ever happened to Bridgnorth, to be honest.
No, I can't.
It's something we'll absolutely have to bounce back from and have go back to the drawing board a little bit. Don't give up on the season. There's another 2 games. Derby at home, DK away, 2 massive fixtures for us.
Yeah.
To actually get a bit of purchase and finish the season on a high.
Yeah.
Absolutely doable. Absolutely within our remit. But it's how we bounce back and what we do behind closed doors. I think sometimes actually this is maybe a bigger conversation it's interesting sometimes talking to people who are watching the game.
Yeah.
And outside point of views, give opinions, that sort of stuff. I like having a conversation about it. I'm interested in what people say about it. But sometimes it's funny taking feedback from people, listening to people when maybe they don't know the full picture that's going on behind closed doors. It's an interesting conversation.
Yeah.
Because actually what's happening in camp and the mood that's going on there, people don't see that, so they maybe make comments and say certain stuff or have certain opinions that actually, to me, maybe a little bit harsh, maybe maybe not warranted that much, because there's stuff going on in the background with individuals. There's more to rugby than meets the eye.
Yeah.
And Saturday should be the easy bit, really. If you look at some of the stuff you have to deal with on the Sunday to the Friday, that's the tough bit.
Yeah.
And people don't necessarily see that bit. And maybe we've probably given glimpses of that throughout the year doing the pod and talking about it. But there's definitely stuff going on behind closed doors that people wouldn't see. And I promise you, no matter how disappointed you are on the Saturday about the result, the boys on the pitch are more upset.
I was devastated at the end of the day because I just was on the floor.
Yeah.
I normally do my sit on the floor, have a bit of a recharge anyway. But I was emotionally and physically drained from that game. And I tried to get in the game early this time round, which I think helped. Getting an early carry under my belt and getting an early big carry under my belt was brilliant. But I was emotionally drained from that, and I think I've said it to you a couple of times now. Doing this podcast makes it a little bit harder taking those losses sometimes.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, we've got to air what we what we thought, which is always difficult. And I think me and you don't really talk about it until we get to the podcast.
Yeah.
So it's difficult, isn't it? But it's good. I've really enjoyed this season, and we've still got 2 games left. And I think we've played excellently. And I think it comes back down to the pillars that we set at the start of the season.
How do we sit in relationship to those?
Yeah.
Going forward, I think, mate, it's not over till it's over.
Yeah.
I'm not. You can't change what's happened. You can't change results we've had. You can't alter any of that. But what you can do is move forward and finish stronger.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying not forgiven, but actually 2 massive wins now. Last home game of the season, massive win away. You'll probably forget about some of the stuff that's happened early. 3 losses on the bounce, because you'll just remember the last 2. And you should aim to finish how you mean to go on to start next season.
Yeah.
You don't want to go into an off season, then pre-season off the back of a bad season.
Yeah.
Finish.
Yeah.
You want to finish with a bit of a bang and get a bit of momentum to roll into it.
Yeah. Bit of a recap on the women's game. I know you were there.
Outstanding. Again, still not lost. Beat Moseley at home. A good Moseley side. I think an incredible team performance once again from the women's team.
Yeah.
I think that they've just gone from strength to strength, to be honest with you. And it's hard to talk about because there's not a lot. With our games, you can talk about the peaks and troughs and things that didn't go quite well, but actually they're just performing.
Yeah.
They're just playing well week in, week out, doing the basics right, getting what needs to get done, and then coming out with results.
Yeah.
There's always a couple of standouts performances in those fixtures. I thought both wingers particularly good in that game. Bell ran the game really well, and deserved the win. And it's just something very special to have a season where you've gone undefeated.
Yeah.
And they're very close to doing that. And once you've done that, no one can ever take that away from you, which is exciting for them.
Something special, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is something special to do that. So that's great that they got a win. I mean, they've still got a couple of games. They've got 1 game to go? 2 games to go?
Yes. I think they maybe have 3, maybe.
3 games to go.
Maybe 3 or 2. 2 maybe, I don't know.
But yeah, they've still got a couple to go, so they need to keep rolling on with that because, as you said, having an unbeaten season would be phenomenal. It's something to remember, and something to remember why you're always, we were the team that went unbeaten and went up.
Yeah, and just another fixture from the week. I think the Bulls won again, didn't they, as well?
Yeah.
Nice to see that. At least someone's winning, Con.
Yeah, at least someone's winning.
Not us, but the others are.
Not us, but yeah. I think, we had a conversation about it earlier. We're getting to know people in that changing rooms a bit more and how they tick. And I think processes take longer than a year. Got to think about our setup that we've got at the moment. Our setup that we've got at the moment is a year old. Not even that.
Not even, mate.
And you've got to look at some international teams. So go back to the weekend, Wales. Wales still have not won a game of international rugby for a very, very long time. Are they a bad team?
Yeah, no.
No. They have got some outstanding players.
You know, it's easy to expect. You know, and I think touch on the new facility and what we have at the moment. It's easy to expect because everything else has got better. So the facility's got better, the venue's got better. That everything else just follows suit. But actually, it takes time to find your feet sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, if you look, let's look at the past seasons. Every year, we've typically had a turnover of coaches, new coaches, new coaches, new coaches.
Yeah.
You look at a team like, let's take Sicer, for example. We've now smashed this league, done really well.
Yep.
That's a 4 or 5 year build to where they are now. Consistent, it's a similar sort of faces, same sort of players, same coaching methodology in there now. But it's taken them a long time to get there. You can't expect to be world beaters in a year.
No.
You have to give it time. You have to let things gel. You have to let things grow. And I think maybe we look at it, you know, are we in a bit of a growth stage? Maybe.
Yeah.
Does it excuse some losses? No. I'm not saying that in any way, shape or form. But it takes time to really build a team that go undefeated and do something that well.
Yeah, and I think, well, you know, we spoke about that briefly, didn't we, in terms of keeping this squad together and trying to keep the team together, trying to keep morale nice and high, which is difficult. And I think from leadership standpoints, that is difficult to do because we do take losses, you know, very personally, but it is something that we pride ourselves on. I pride myself on being that sort of energizer, you know, throughout the whole team, trying to be a bit of an energizer, trying to be not a sappuccino as we're sat in a coffee place.
I know, yeah.
That's what we pride ourselves on a little bit, isn't it? But going forwards, I mean, we've got a free weekend this weekend. I know that this week we're going to try to get together once.
Thursday night, isn't it?
And do some sort of team
bonding, team building. Even I don't know what's going on.
No, neither do I. No.
On the door, so.
And I think that's worthwhile, and I think that's needed. It's really needed to do. I think credit to Danny there. Danny sort of organised that himself, of sort of having some team building exercises in that and having a look at that, which is good. And then going forwards, we've got Derby away. No, Derby home.
Derby home.
Home. I'm looking forward to that one, big time. Really looking forward to that fixture. And then we finish at DK away.
Yeah.
Not easy fixtures, but I think we've got to look at it now that we want 10 points out of that.
I'd still expect 10 points, mate, every week.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'd expect the 5 each week, so 10 points. The next 2 is what I'm after. That's my minimum standard always.
Yeah.
I say it all the time.
Anything else interesting happened to you, Jonah, so far?
No, mate, I think it's a couple of interesting days you've just had and just gathering my thoughts a little bit, get my headspace right again, going into the next couple of fixtures of the big one for me, mate. Looking forward to Thursday, spending time with some boys.
Yeah.
I was at the gym, you know, last night with a couple of lads.
Yeah.
Bit of lifting, shifting some tin, and then went in the steam room, which was fun. Never used that at the gym. That's
nice.
5-6 years. That was good. Bit of recovery. Yeah.
We spoke about social battery in the car on the way here, and how you feel that a weekend massively drains that. And I think we spoke about social battery a lot on the pod a little bit. And I think it is a big thing. I think I'd like to use the term rugby battery as well. That's why I think weeks off are good, because I think people's rugby battery
sometimes get a bit of a recharge and
a recharge and a reset from it. Because you've got so many people who are carrying knocks, carrying, you know, little injuries. Potentially, we've had 3 games on, you know, 3 losses on the bounce. Having a Tuesday night off is a bit of a rugby reset, and I think it is needed. And that's one thing I think we've done quite well this year, is blocking up the season.
Yeah. My battery's low, mate. I don't like to admit it.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's low at the moment. I think it gets very hard sometimes just to maintain that top level of everything, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know, I think that's the crux of being maybe in a leadership position, that actually sometimes you can't show any weakness in those days and those you know those tough outings. Don't get me wrong. You know, when I'm at business end of it, when I'm at training Tuesday, Thursday, and games on Saturday, I'm fully charged, mate. I'm there. But it becomes quite difficult at times, day to day. You know, you toss and turn about the results. You overthink about things and try and, you know, in your own head, try and reinvent the wheel. Maybe you don't need to. I maybe it doesn't come across on this, mate, but I'm a little bit sat, mate. It's a little bit tired. I'm still happy. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm just, tough sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. But yeah, this place is always working, isn't it? Always
Yeah.
working.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they collect deliveries here, collections of.
You won't be
Some
able to see, you'll be able to see it on camera. There's
No, you
people,
won't be.
constant stream, people walking in and out,
Yeah,
and
I think they
stuff
think we're
going
front of
on. Keep
house.
distracting me. Probably like, yeah,
Oh, these people
Yeah,
are purple
these
hoodies haven't
people,
been
yeah.
here before.
yeah.
What are they doing here? Yeah, it's social batch is a big one. I think I'm not sure. We mentioned it as well. Who came up with the terminology of it? But me and you spoke about it a lot, and I've been guilty of that a few times. I think I have to get myself up for training sometimes, and really get myself up for games. But you know, we're quite. I loved the term that you said the other day on the pod about being an introverted extrovert.
I think it's very true.
I think it's very, very true. And I was trying to think about the fact that when you said it, I kind of took it and I thought, yeah, I get that. But then I thought about it a bit more. I thought, you know what? That is fully me. I'm a full extrovert at training. And then when I go home, I'm just like, can I watch the TV? Can I just sit by myself and do something for a second?
Yeah, it's a fine line to balance, really. I think probably the same with a lot of rugby players who tend to be fairly big characters, don't they?
Yeah.
I think that you give so much of yourself to others when you're at training that actually sometimes when you get those moments of downtime, you just want to take it all back and be very selfish with it.
Yeah.
And that's where the introverted extrovert comes from.
Yeah, I like it.
It's very hard to find a middle ground. I think that's where you probably would end up
Yeah.
getting the worst of both. Because you don't fully commit to either. If you just sort of sat in the middle, but you have to give it all when you're there, and then you have to take some time for yourself when you're off. It's quite, you can't just burn the candle at both ends
No.
and sit in the middle with it.
Yeah.
You're either on or off.
Yeah, I think it's a great term. I think it's something that people perhaps maybe need to think about themselves in terms of that. You need to take some time for yourself. You can't be just smashing through it. And I think that's why we started that coffee club. I think coffee club at the club is to have a downtime conversation about something that is completely unrelated to rugby.
Yeah.
Completely we've had some great conversations in there.
Yeah, and we're looking to make some big upgrades to the coffee club as well, potentially. Hopefully, off the back of some good conversations recently.
Yeah, the coffee club might become a bit of a bigger thing at the club. So we'll see where we go with that. But no, we've enjoyed our time at Iron and Fire.
Been wicked, mate. Yeah.
And this will be on YouTube.
The YouTube's, mate.
Your
Yeah.
YouTube channel. So potentially, I don't know when it'll be released, but
We'll get it out at some point.
Get it out at some point.
Yeah.
But over to you to finish it, Jen.
2 claps this on 3. 1, 2, 3.